Hey guys, welcome back to Get Motivated and Fit TV. If you're new to the channel, the concept behind Get Motivated is to get more out of life, right? So today what I want to talk about is a couple things. The first one is, if you saw my video from where I talk about how I deal with my state of mind, I'm going to add a couple more things with that. And then as well as, for today being Valentine's Day, right? I want to talk about how what I dealt with, or how I dealt with my divorce. And this is pretty much, for all the, single people. Um don't, it's one of those things that once you learn to self-love, once you learn to love yourself, today won't matter, right? Today will just be another day. But let me go ahead and start with what I mentioned, right? The the thoughts that come into your mind, or the thoughts that you create, or even the beliefs that you have, or sometimes the beliefs that you create, will affect you emotionally, and then eventually, that state of mind will play a part. So what I mean by that is, if you don't know how to control the mind, the emotions are going to take over, right? So what I mean by that, for example, if you believe that you're not worth it, if you believe, you're not strong enough, if you believe you're not enough, right? Eventually, you're not just gonna believe that, but you're gonna feel it, and then that mindset's gonna be like, you know what, that's how it is. That's the reason why you're having a bad day. Or you're having a bad day because, you're not worth it. You're having a bad day because you're not enough. Like, no, 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 no. Like, block off all that negativity. Like, I know it's easier said than done, but once you learn how to control that mindset, you'll be able to control those emotions, and eventually just, push them to the side. And like, for me, right, I'll use me for example. My beliefs may be different for yours. My beliefs is, I'm a man of God. I have a faith. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I'm a family man. I work to provide for my family. Therefore, I'm disciplined with my money, right? So let me tell you how all this ties in. Like, let's say one day I feel like I don't want to go to work. That's a tough decision to make, because it's like, okay, if I decide to call in, guess what happens? I don't get paid, and then, I'm short on my check, and then I won't be able to take my family out, right? So everything has an effect. Now, sometimes I can go into work, and, I'm in public transportation, so I may come across somebody who's having a bad day themselves, and then they take it out on me. Am I gonna let that affect me the way I'm feeling? If I'm feeling great, if I'm feeling like I'm blessed, like, no, right? Just one ear and out the other. Now, let me go ahead and get into the how I dealt with my divorce, right? So, and this isn't no, like, I'm not a relationship expert. For me, it's more of, again, with my experience, and I was at a crossroads, to be honest with you. So let me go ahead and go back in time, if you will. I I was married at a young age. I want to say like 18, 19. I knew that's what I wanted. I wanted the wife, I wanted the family, I wanted to raise, kids. Like, I knew that's what I wanted. So at a young age, got married. We had two kids, two beautiful kids, girl and a boy. And this was probably when our daughter was 4 and our son was 2. Now my daughter is 16, and my son is he'll be 14 this July. So yeah, they were babies. So it just one for me, I can't speak for her, but for me, I got complacent. I took what we had for granted. I I didn't think she would leave. I didn't think that as long as we were together as a family, like, that's, that was it, right? We would go out together as a family, whether it was to dinner, lunch, movies, the zoo, wherever it was, right? As long as we were together as a family, that's to me that was I was cool with that. Well, somewhere along the line, I forgot to have that one-on-one time with my wife. I forgot to have just that date night just with us two. And I mean, for me, it was just like work, family, and that was on me, right? I have no one to blame but me. And over time, I could tell we were starting to argue. I could tell we started to have these arguments, but I know because she was emotionally bothered that I didn't take the time to have that one-on-one time with her. And I was very I for me, I avoided confrontation. As soon as she like, you know what? Stop. I don't want to argue. You're right. I'm wrong. That's it. End of discussion. And that was my mistake because I didn't take the time just to sit there, listen to how she was feeling, and listen to the problem at hand so I can fix it, right? So once that time came where she told me like, "Hey, I'm gonna go stay at my mom's house. I don't know when I'll be back." Like it caught me by surprise, and then eventually that led to the divorce. And I remember like when I got home from work that day, going into the house, like there was no one there. Like it was an empty house, like just me. And I was crushed. I was crushed because the life that I knew, the life that I had just changed like that. And I would call her just to see how the kids were doing, but she was ignoring my phone call. And all I wanted was just, hey, how are the kids doing? Like, that was, for me, as long as I heard about the kids, that was going to give me a peace of mind. But the longer she ignored my call, the longer it crushed me. I was going through some tough times because, um, like I said, right, I took what we have for granted. And just one day to the next, my life changed, and I was at a crossroads. Like I remember, I didn't want to be at home. I didn't. So I was at the point where I'm either gonna go out and I'm gonna make a bad decision, whether that was going to the club, to the bar to get drunk, or I'll admit going to a strip club. But I knew that at that point in time, I knew that I need to get back into church. I need to get back. I need to go down that path. Let me put it like that. As much as I was going through what I was going through, I um I remember reaching out to my mom, and I told her like, "Hey, do you have a pastor's, number, or the office? I need to set up like a session, right?" So I was able to reach out, and we set that up. And I remember, like, I don't remember the whole conversation. I just remember some key points where he talked about that, sometimes, you think marriage, like, that's the ultimate thing. And sometimes, even though, right, like in the Bible, it says what God put together, let no one, split. Um, divorce isn't an option. But I remember he mentioned that sometimes, since we did marry young, we still needed to work on ourselves. Maybe that's why God did what he did. And she went to her mom's, I stayed at the house, and we had to work on ourselves first. And because we do have kids, that doesn't mean that we need to be together because of the kids, right? It's just going to hurt them more. Um, so that was something that he said. It stuck with me. And it's like how you said, as hard as you don't want to, pray for her to heal, and then as well as ask God to work in you as well. So I did that, and it was a lonely journey, but I knew that I made the right decision by going down that path instead of going down to the bar to get drunk, to drown my sorrows, as they say. But it was I just remember those feelings, right? of loneliness, um, depression. It was like, wow, like I'm alone now. Like, what happened? And that was back in what, 2013, 2014, maybe. So I'm in a better place now, right? Like now, like we co-parent. We're there for the kids. It's even gotten to the point where uh our daughter wanted to have, for her 16th birthday, she wanted to have a dinner with both sides of the family. So we made it happen for her, right? I thought it was gonna be awkward. I thought it was gonna be like, but no, it was great because we were there for her. And then she did I don't know if no, she's not married yet, but she does have a boyfriend. And I remember our son, he's into wrestling right now. Like he loves it. He's into A&W. And I knew I couldn't make it because of my work schedule, but I went ahead and bought tickets, and I asked her, like, hey, if you can take him, if not, will your boyfriend be able to take him? I'm okay getting the tickets as long as our son goes. And this was for his Christmas present. And he loved it. They loved it, and they were grateful. And that was something that, I could have went there to be there with our son, but with work I wasn't able to. So I was just like, you know what, let's do it like this for him. you know um like I said, I hope everything that I said, I hopefully gave you some kind of encouragement. Hopefully you learned something about what I went through as far as with the divorce, right? It was tough, some dealing with a divorce, dealing with a death. It's something that, like, how do you handle it, right? You let the emotions get the best of you, and sometimes you just start questioning everything. You start questioning about life. You start questioning about yourself. But if you find that outlet, if you find, for me, as a man of faith, you grow that relationship with God. You grow that relationship, with His Son Jesus Christ, and you have the Holy Spirit in you, right? Like, I think that will help you in the long run, or as a day-to-day process. And then also, when you work on yourself, that's something that I learned. When you work on feeding that mind, read personal development. When you work on yourself, physically, emotionally, go to the gym, go for a walk, write in a journal, express those feelings. um, if you have somebody that you can trust, somebody that you can talk to, talk to them, vent to them, let them know how you're feeling. Sometimes that's all you need, right? So just because today's Valentine's, don't be in a funk. Don't let your emotions get the best of you, because you'll be surprised that there's people out there that have been single for X amount of years, that they enjoy the peace, they enjoy being by themselves, and they'll be out there. They'll be out there having dinner for one, having lunch for one. But like I said, hopefully you're doing well. Hope you're blessed. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep your head up, keep the faith, and I'll see y'all on the next one.